This episode of Bonded Voices is brought to you by iCoat Products. iCoat Products make living spaces beautiful with decorative concrete and epoxy products from iCoat. Visit them online at www.icoatproducts.com. Enter the coupon code BV1, Bonded Voices 1, and get 12% off at checkout.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier when the morning.
Welcome back to Bonded Voices, Season 3. Sasha, one of our favorite listeners, or I think we might be one of his favorite podcasts.
Yeah, maybe.
Either way, sent us an email referencing some research that was done by MIT specific to the use of AI. They named specifically ChatGPT, but for the sake of the conversation today, we're going to talk about the use of AI. Interestingly enough, it does tie into one of our 10 tenets, and we'll get to that in just a moment. I'm Greg.
I'm Ian.
This is Lauren.
So we hear nonstop from every direction, AI this, AI that. It's going to change this, it's going to change that. But until now, really hasn't been a topic about what is the impact to the human brain of the use of AI. For some of us old enough, we used an abacus back in math class. Okay, so maybe that's excessive. But I can remember being allowed to use calculators and then reaching the point of euphoria where they said, you can use the calculator in the test.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And wow, what a game changer that was. But the human species, we're not as smart as we used to be because we rely on calculators.
Now, did it feel to you like cheating when they allowed you to use the math? Yeah.
You know, I wonder if our parents were hand-wringing at the same time with, oh, they're using calculators. I used to use a slide rule.
No, right.
I'm sure.
You know, the engineers back then, you know, look at what NASA used to have to use is they do all their calculations by hand. Mm-hmm. Now it's, oh, just throw it in the calculation or throw it in the calculator. We'll have a custom program that does it.
Right. And wasn't the net effect of people being able to use calculators that people all of a sudden didn't do math in their head well anymore?
Yeah. So what's interesting is if you go to a construction job site, more so if it's a remodel of a house or something, it's fascinating to watch the carpenters and they're doing math on the 2x4s.
Right.
I'm sure if you took off some of the sheetrock in the room that we're in right now, you'll see some of the math that they did before they made their cuts. So that trade still needs to use math. I'm not sure if they have the cool little the watch calculator. Beep, 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 to do the calculations. But we as the regular society were told, well, you're not going to need to know it.
Well, think about this. How many times you've gone to pay for something, you give them cash, and they're supposed to give you change back, and they're like...
puzzle.
They're like,
puzzle.
Wait, what? Yeah. How do I do... Wait, you gave me a 20. This 1 minus...
Yeah. Sidebar. You want to have some fun, use $2 bills. Because the people working the other end of the cash register have no idea where it goes.
Oh, that's
because there's not a tray for the $2 bills.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyways, you're right. The common sense math, because we had been taught in school, we don't need to know how to do the math anymore in your head. You'll be able to access a calculator.
What's funny though, the society now can do calculus and do physics and trig and all that kind of stuff, but they can't do common change, which is fascinating because we've changed the way we teach.
Yeah.
Colleges have gone or high schools have gone to, let's get the people to the college, not real world skills.
Well, nobody left behind.
And I think my grandmother always used to say that it's a use it or lose it situation. And even they knew back then, my grandmother was born in like 1907, I think. So use it or lose it. And here we are, 2025, and they've introduced AI to things, ChatGPT. Now, it was bad enough when Google was introduced because everyone was like, oh, it must be correct because it's online. Now we've got all these AI tools. But the question around this study is it going to make people more stupid?
I don't see how it won't.
Right, I agree.
Well, these technical advancements come because there's a need to do something quickly. Did calculators make us stupid? It allows us to put our brain power to a different area. Maybe writing an essay isn't that real world necessity that we can offload it to a GPT.
So that's an interesting point. So to your question, does it make people less smart? Whatever that might be.
Right.
So there's the flip side of the argument, which is Lauren's side saying, well, no, now I can become more of a specialist in this particular area and not be burdened with the knowledge to do this. So less well-rounded.
But I think there's fundamentals that schools should be teaching, right?
Sure.
I mean, what is reading, writing, and arithmetic? I think you need a grounding in those things to be able to do well. Now, I think in the same way, in between AI and the calculator came the computer. No one writes cursive anymore.
Right.
And actually, you ask someone to write a birthday card other than love Ian, right? Yeah, I mean, the chicken scratch on there is just amazing.
Everybody's become physicians.
Yes. So, what are all the technical advancements that have led to a decline in some skill? I think that every technical advancement leads to a mental debt at some point.
Yeah.
Or deficit, where we lose something with every technical advancement. So it could be as simple as, I mean, think about driving, right? All of our kids drive, but, with the advent of the rear cameras, no one knows how to use it.
No one turns around anymore.
Yeah, so that's a skill of being able to look at three mirrors and be able to know your relative position.
Yeah.
They don't care about that anymore. I got lines on the camera. I know where I'm backing up. I know what I'm going to do. It's a skill that's lost with a technical advancement.
Yeah. I even think you even look at the cell phone, not that it's replaced other things, but I think the cell phone as a technology has also made people less social. And part of it's stupider because they're relying on an entertainment medium that's built on bullshit. People like, my life's amazing, look at me, the day in the life sort of stuff, which isn't the reality. But it's also made them so dependent on it. I don't know if you've seen videos online where the dad grabs the cell phone and just hurls it. The daughter goes ballistic. Like, I mean ballistic. It's like, wow, do you care about your family that much? But to her, that was her world.
Sure.
Everything.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and then now we have AI, which is 10x all of that sort of stuff on the phone as well.
When you were talking about the cell phone and the reduction in human interaction, I would ask our listeners, the next time that you're in a public area, take a moment, put your phone down, and look around and see how many people are focused on their phone rather than looking around. Because there used to be that awkwardness. You walk into a room, you don't know anybody, but what's someone going to do? Look down at their shoes while they're standing there? People made eye contact. You started to, oh, hey, how you doing? Little nod, a little wave. That has been completely removed.
Absolutely.
Well, with the advancement of I have greater connectivity with people, I can contact people all over the world at any time, I've lost the skill of contacting people in my immediate vicinity. It's a skill. One skill has been lost for the technical advancement.
So here's one of the notes from the study. It said that 83% of people who use ChatGPT to write couldn't remember anything they wrote just minutes later. Like, that's...
Well, and then the next part, only 11% forgot when they used Google or their own brain. So could you imagine we actually, for the listeners, we had a conversation before we started recording, and we were talking about a couple of different things and trying to determine who came up with one particular story piece. We were able to figure that out because we knew that somebody did. But the idea, this is terrifying.
It is.
That there are people that can't remember, did I think of that? Or did Google think of that? Or did AI think of that? Oh my gosh.
Or what was that I was talking about?
Terrifying.
But wasn't there's a 60 Minutes show or a part of their show where some kid had things implanted into his brain to connect him to AI. So they could ask him the most complex questions, and through his brain he could like get the answer without having to even type anything in or do anything. So people are making them part of that matrix, which is a rarity, right? And that's crazy.
It's a rarity today.
Yeah.
Well,
There was a time when microwaves weren't common.
But what happens if the next big Microsoft hiring is like wanted people who are tied into the...
you're assuming we're going to have jobs.
Well, before we go there, hold on, Lauren. Whoa. This is before
I might talk about the moon landing any minute, right? Yeah.
So, what is the value, if we're going to get into some controversial, what is the value of a human that's implanted with this technology compared to a robot that's already hardwired with that? Because
It's the hybrid.
Yeah, but a human still gets sick.
Yeah.
A human still has emotions, although some of it might be controlled by the computer. So you still have the human ages, their body ages. So Microsoft as an employer, why would they be more interested in this, let's call it humanoid, versus a true robot?
Well, think of this. The meme going around about, or the little video going around about the plumber who takes a picture under the sink, sends it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT tells him everything that's wrong. The only thing ChatGPT can't do is fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that guy goes in and he looks at it and it scans it automatically in through his eyes, through his brain, into the system, and is given the answer, and he can fix it.
So do you guys remember?
So going back to that, is that plumber better off being able to do that without the AI assistant, or is it better to have the AI assistant?
No, it's better to have it, but is it better to have it implanted in his brain, or just... Yeah, okay. It's got his hand up, so we'll let him answer.
So I have a question for you.
Oh.
Specific to this plumber video that Lauren sent to Ian and I, and we both responded terrified. So is it better to have the experience of a seasoned plumber that's there able to assess it and fix it? Or where is AI gathering this information?
Well, so I'm not sure where they're getting the information, but there'll be a point where you'll have a scenario where the plumber doesn't have the experience, and that AI will have that experience. Because you got to think about it. The plumber has just what he has, or he or she has experienced in their lifetime, whereas AI can be 1,000 lifetimes combined.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I don't disagree with any of that. But what happens if the information that AI pulls is flawed? You create this situation where you have a human that has been implanted with these probes, that's now a plumber, that is doing things not even knowing why they're doing them, not thinking through the logic because they have turned their brain off and they're just listening to AI. And is the information that's coming in from AI actually going to be the right content? Is it going to solve the problem? It's only based on what's available within that network.
I think 98+% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
We're trusting Google. So some other plumber in somewhere else that took a picture of the work that they did, that's what we're trusting?
Well, so again, you're assuming that the person that would be doing it normally is perfect. They could make just the same. So in that scenario, both could be wrong.
Agreed. But so this this goes back to, like, if you think about Google reviews for companies, who fills that out? People that are angry, and people that were asked and maybe given a gift.
Very true.
So if we think, what plumber is going to come home after a long day, fire up the laptop and start uploading pictures? What's in it for them? Why would they start posting that information so that it
Reddit?
Well,
but who's going to post on? I mean, I understand, and we don't need to dwell on this, but I think that
the system can be poisoned.
Sure.
And I get where you're going with that. The system can definitely be poisoned.
But when you have enough inputs from everyone else, it'll weed out the anomaly.
I guess that would always go back to the training.
Yeah.
And that the training of the individual or training of the AI would fall in the same carriage.
Sure.
So you look at the next stage of this, right? And talking about brains, brain scans told a terrifying story. Neural connections crashed from 79 to just 42. Are people implanting to get their neural connections higher? Or is it not connected to that? And if this is whatever you measure neural connections by and what the output and what the human side of losing those neural connections is, if that's the case, that's like a 47% collapse. That's pretty frightening. Because isn't that like dementia patient or Joe Biden at that point in time?
Nice.
Oh, actually, just his wasn't that high to start with. So, but yeah, no, that's a huge fallout.
Well, I guess I think we're wringing our hands on this one because we have a study that's been done. But think of every technical advance that has caused something like this. We can't read maps anymore. We can't, most people look at a map and they're like, what is this? Because GPS tells them, drive forward, turn right in 100 feet, whatever. So they don't even know.
They don't know where they're going.
They don't even know what direction's north.
No. Not
so your spatial awareness has been greatly diminished.
It's funny enough, out of all the amazing apps and things that you get on the phone, I showed my son one day the Compass app. He was like, really? They have that? I'm like, it's like one of the first things they had.
Mm-hmm.
Not new, but yeah, it's you start taking away things from people. I think it's the same way your body atrophies.
So
if you don't use your muscles, your arms, then you get weak.
But the neural connections are actually your brain connecting with the rest of your body and the brain connecting with the brain.
And that's really frightening then.
Right. So the brain is not working in the capacity that it was originally designed to work in.
Yeah, that's really frightening.
So I think that's a good segue into which of our 10 tenets.
I think we've done the first two, which is engaging the casual hello and the responsive effort, and that's been really good, so keeping that. Developing the ability to be disliked, to free yourself from the prison of other people's opinions. I love that one. And so number 3 with flight testing is fighting addictions. And that's pretty apropos with what we're talking about with AI, with the phone, with leaning on technology, because it isn't just drugs and alcohol and pornography that's the addictions to fight. It's right in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said about that girl who went ballistic, it's like there's a ton of those videos out there where it is a true addiction to the max.
Well, just the immediacy of video games now, and we have that quick dopamine hit all the time, and we're able to just... They have studies where video games have shown a similar type of mental deficit that becomes, a lot of kids, you talk to your kids about playing video games, and there's nothing wrong with it. But there is a side of it where you lose the ability, because you gain abilities to play the video game, but you lose other abilities at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those situations where I think that society is not communicating the way it should be. And this is, I think, to our benefit on this podcast with us. I think we've all learned to communicate better over the last couple of years of doing this. Mm-hmm. It's just helped me in my work and the other things I do. But I think in the same way, you're talking about the kids walking into a party or into a class, like they're not communicating with anyone. They're just looking, and their type of communication they're doing, I think majority of the times fake communication.
Sure. Yeah. So back to this addiction creating an issue. So in society, there's a perception of, from the generation prior to us, of a quiet kid is a good kid. Children are to be seen, not heard. So then we think about, okay, well, there's a big celebration. You want to take the kids out to a restaurant. We're going to go have dinner. Well, if the kids are not perfectly behaved, someone in the restaurant is throwing a tantrum. So it is not uncommon to see the youth with some type of tablet or a phone in their hands.
I think it's actually commonplace now.
Sure. And
It's
so
probably more of an anomaly to not.
To see them not.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we as society have created a situation where this is a super slippery slope, because these children have grown up with this technology in their hands, arguably, maybe by choice, maybe not by choice, but either way, they're just used to it. That's their security blanket. That's Linus's security blanket from the Peanuts cartoon. And so how do we say to society, hey, put that down. Hey, step away from that. Go talk to your friends. Go for a walk around the park.
Well, I think the first part of it is almost like that 12-step situation. You have to realize you have a problem. And I think if people are out there with an addiction to their phone, it's not a problem. This is my life. Okay, you just said it. There's a huge problem there. It's
Right.
not your life, it's their phone.
Right.
But these people are tied into it in that way where they don't want to admit they've got an addiction. The really interesting part is they'll say, I don't want someone to tell me what to do with my phone. The phone's telling you what to do every second. Mm-hmm. The phone has more control of you than any of your parents telling you to put it down for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's even a case of a guy who he has an AI girlfriend. I think it's some type of GPT type thing that he's caused or has a relationship with, and he's actually proposed to it to get married. And that is, breaking down. He's got a addiction to the dopamine hit that the GPT has given to him.
Right. See, I've been thinking in relationships when you have that partner who controls your world and can tell you what to do, and you'll jump, they shout jump, you'll say how high. That's an addiction. That's not a healthy relationship. And in the same way, I think this whole idea of fighting addiction, for men especially, is hugely important, because men are supposed to be leaders. And with addiction, you don't become a leader. It's really hard to even think of yourself as a leader when you're the slave to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think for everyone out there and for everyone listening, you've got to be thinking to yourself, along these tenets, we've got giving you 3 to start with, but along the topic that we were looking at, share that with your family. And it may be a great thing. Give someone a 20 and have a bunch of change and see how fast they can break a 20.
Yeah.
See if you get like 25 back or something like that.
It'd be interesting to have the listeners send in their example of something that technology took over a skill.
That's a great ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send something in that maybe we haven't thought about it,
Well, and let's keep in mind that the concept behind bonded voices is not to tear down other parts of society or to tear apart other people. It's to foster conversation. It's to create environments in where we all reconnect as human beings. And to Ian's part, the role that we as men play, the role that women play, that the environment in which that we all hopefully coexist is really what we want to foster. So let's make sure that when you send us things, let's not make it a keyboard warrior type situation. That's my ask.
Okay. I like it.
So I came across an interesting article a few days ago, and it was reference to a gentleman who had set up a what do they call that when you put a bunch of things in the ground and you hide it for a while and then you open it up?
Time capsule?
Time capsule, thank you. So a gentleman in Nebraska had put together a time capsule and told everybody in his community, he did it 50 years ago, and people brought things to put in the time capsule. You live in this community, you can put anything you want in there. And so it was an interesting article about what people put in there, their experience. And so my thought that I think ties into this fighting addictions is, are you behaving in a manner that you would be comfortable putting something in a time capsule to be uncovered in 50 years? Something other than your phone. What else are you doing that you're proud of, that you've connected with, that you would want mankind to be looking at in 50 years? Because these phones are going to be long gone.
And the phones are transitory as well.
Sure.
You know?
But if we were to say what defines our current society, the phone.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So what else? What are you doing? It's a pair of hiking shoes from going on a hike with your kids? Is it what is it?
Me, it'd be a musical instrument. I'd have to go with that.
Yeah. Which it takes your brain to perform.
Unless you listen to Velvet Sundown and then it's full on AI, you know. But yeah, no, and I love it because I've got my son playing as well, and he loves it. So, and I think, again, if that's a non-technical or technology thing, it's vibrations that you can enjoy. It's a challenge. Yeah, so that'd be for me. What about you, Lauren?
Well, since I do a lot of hiking, it'd have to probably be hiking shoes because I go out hiking with all the kids. Mm-hmm. So, and they know that's the thing to get, like, oh, I need to do something with Dad. Okay, we'll go do that.
Yeah. For me, it'd be some sporting good, because that's how I connected with all three, was tied around sports and lessons learned and what have you.
Yeah, that's a great question, though, because I think a lot of people would be sitting there thinking their life's empty. And some of them may be, that outside of their phone and they're chatting on the phone and watching TV at night.
Sure. And it could be. Much. But let's make that change.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never too late to start.
No, it's not at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so until next time on Bonded Voices, I'm Ian.
I'm Greg.
This is Lauren.
And we'll see you again next time.